Hi everyone, it's Jason here. I'm going to take you through a quick wellbeing session today on physical activity. It'll be me talking for a couple of minutes and then we'll get you into doing some activities to get you out of your seats. Obviously, we know that physical activity has a lot of physical benefits, but it also has a lot of psychosocial benefits, things that are going to help your overall well-being. It can help reduce stress, improve relaxation, concentration, memory, sleep, your ability to have healthy relationships, your self-esteem and confidence. So there are lots of benefits there that are really important to note. There are a few different domains of physical activity, so it can fall under a few different categories. We've got occupational activity, things that you do as part of your job or as part of your schooling. So PTs, PE teachers, builders, labourers will get a lot of occupational activity, and obviously anything that you do during school would fall under that. Leisure time activity is things like walking, team sports, aerobics, dancing, things that you do outside of school as part of your leisure. Household or gardening activity, so things like mowing and digging and vacuuming and whatever else you might do around the house. And then active transportation activity, which is where you're using your body to get places, walking and cycling primarily. So I'd like you to just quickly list every type of physical activity that you've engaged in the past week. I'll get the teacher to pause in a second while you do this. I just want you to brainstorm everything you've done in the last week. You'll see my note there that anything that's happened during class time you can count as occupational. So I'd like you to categorize everything you've done under one of those 4 different categories. So teachers pause here and students brainstorm everything you've done in the last week and whether it was occupational, leisure, household, or active transportation. Pause now. Okay, hopefully you've paused and done that activity and you've got a bit of an idea of what you've been up to over the last week as far as being physically active. In 2004, the government developed the National Physical Activity Guidelines, and I'm going to go through those briefly with you now. Guideline number 1 was about seeing movement as an opportunity to improve your health rather than seeing it as an inconvenience. And I think we often fall into the trap of seeing it as a chore or something else that we have to kind of fit into our busy schedules. And there's a bit of a mindset shift that you need there to see it as a bit of an opportunity for growth and for health. Guideline number 2 is about being active every day, as often as possible, and then also enjoying some regular vigorous activity. And then guideline number 3, probably the most important, is that you should engage in 30 minutes of moderate to intermediate physical activity on most days, if not every day. So we'll just go back to guideline number 2 for a second. Be active every day as often as possible. And we notice that adults engage in less incidental activity than children due to busy lifestyles, other commitments, time-saving devices. So some of the ways that you can increase that incidental activity that just happens throughout the day is choosing to walk or cycle rather than drive, choosing to use the stairs or walk while you're on an escalator, doing things around the house, gardening, mowing, vacuuming, like I mentioned earlier, or parking or arriving further from your destination to encourage a short walk. So these are all ways that you can get some incidental activity into your day. Guideline number 3, which is the real takeaway from today, you should be doing 30 minutes of moderate to intermediate activity on most days. So as far as the duration goes, it doesn't have to be one 30-minute chunk. You can do a few little 10-minute, 15-minute sessions over the day. You should do it most days, if not every day. So it says there at least 5 days a week. And as far as that intensity level, when we say moderate to intermediate activity, we're talking about things that will just increase your breathing and heart rate a bit. Things like brisk walking, swimming, cycling, dancing. On top of that, any vigorous activity that you do, running, gym sessions, team sports, rowing, any of that stuff is obviously good too. So just spend a moment to reflect here. Do you meet all 3 of these recommendations? Which one are you least likely to meet? It's possible that you're getting the exercise 5 days a week and the right intensity level, but maybe it's not going for half an hour. Maybe you're easily doing half an hour, but you're only doing it once or twice a week instead of 5 days. Have a quick think about that. Do you tick all 3 of those boxes? There are a few different reasons that adolescents kind of take a bit of a dip in their physical activity levels. We notice basically from childhood right through to the end of life, there's a gradual decline in activity levels. We can see their adolescents have the opportunity to participate in PE programs in high school, and that seems to keep their activity levels high. But then we notice in mid-teens, for whatever reason, there's a bit of a drop in activity, particularly with females. That could be linked to body image or the way that our bodies are changing during that age bracket. We've also got a big dropout that happens in the middle of high school, and it seems that people are choosing to socialise rather than continue with their sporting engagements. I guess the key to fixing that up is to make the socialising a part of the sporting or the physical activity that you do every day. Seems to be a loss of interest in competition too. And once again, if that's true, that's totally fine. You kind of lose that competitive side, but there's no reason that can't be replaced by something non-competitive that still keeps you active. And then the last problem there is obviously that we have time issues, study and work commitments, part-time jobs that kind of get in the way. So, time to do some activities. I'll hand over to your teacher and they'll take you through a couple of little games that'll get you up out of your seat and moving your body around. Have fun, and thanks for listening.